Hey guys, it's your girl Nick, and welcome to another edition of Bo Knows Business. I am the CEO and founder of the Bo Collective, and by now you have to know that I am I'm really a blessed person. I am in community with 100 of the nation's top top small businesses who happen to be Black women. They have grown their businesses over $1 million. That puts them in the top 0.3% of all successful small businesses. And we come here every week and we hear their stories, how they were raised, how they were inspired to become entrepreneurs and scaling their business. And today is no exception. But I will tell you, you're not supposed to have favorite people. Like in this community, I love everybody, but I will say I'm about to introduce you to one of my favorite people. All right. So don't tell nobody. Miss Jandie Smith Turner. What's going on, sister?
How are you, Nick? Always a pleasure to see you.
Girl, oh, I wish I could hug you, Jandie. I miss you. So listen, you know what we do here. We talk about your business, but we talk about your story, right? And it is so hard for me to believe that I've known you for a year, but I've really just known you for a few months.
Right.
Because we have worked together. The Bo comes together for events and scaling, and we have had such an amazingly great time working together. So, you all, when I say this is one of my favorite people, she made us look good. She made us look good. We put together an amazing conference earlier in the year, and your team and our other sisters team came together, and it just truly solidified to me the best of the Bo Collective, bringing together women for business. So I'm so happy to have you here today.
It's a pleasure to be here. A pleasure to be a part of Bo. And I think of Bo, it makes me smile. But you didn't ask me that, but for sure it does.
Well, we'll get to look. I know my check is in the mail. I know you're gonna say good things about the Bo, but today is your story. We want to hear all about your life and your journey to being a successful entrepreneur. So, just like the Michelle Obama story, we start with you as a little girl. I cannot wait to know about little Jandie. Like, tell me, girl, tell me all your business. Tell me how you grew up, where you grew up. Give me some nuggets, girl.
Girl, I grew up on the west side of Baltimore. Some would believe it and some wouldn't. But coming from Oakland, you might believe it.
You know
right?
I do, girl. You know I do. Really? Oh, and
Yeah.
how many do you have, brothers and sisters, or were you only child?
Sure. I have a older brother who's 9 years older than me. So it was the four of us, my parents and my brother. As I mentioned, I grew up on the west side of Baltimore. I love all things Baltimore, so I enjoy talking about it. But as a little girl, you couldn't tell me I was not going to play in the WNBA, and it didn't even exist then. So my thing was I just loved to play outside, whether it was riding my bike, playing basketball, playing softball, or just running up and down the street with my friends. That was my thing.
I love it. And wait, let me ask you about your brother, because my kids are about the same years apart. And the little one was always running after the oldest. Was that you, or was it you had your own? You know what? I can't see you running after anybody. I bet you people was following you, girl. Your brother was probably following you around.
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but he was older and I was a nuisance. So I was the snitch and I got paid off for being the snitch. And we laugh about it now, but we're very close right now. And, he gets upset with me if I don't call him, every day, if I don't answer his call when he calls. So we're very, very close, but he's a really good big brother, a leader, if you will, in terms of a little sister. Nobody messed with his little sister. And to this day, if I said right now I'm stranded in Texas, he would find a way to drive to Texas and pick me up and get there or what have you.
I love
So it was great growing up there. I loved, as I mentioned, all things sports. School was very important. My father was serious about education, and I sort of pass that down to my kids now. But he was all about get your edumacation. He used to love to say that. But early on, I lived in a predominantly Black neighborhood, and the schools were par to subpar.
Mhm.
Early on, my mother bused me to another neighborhood where I had an uncle who lived. So that changed a few things for me. It helped me to understand how to play in two different worlds, if you will.
Mhm.
Um, but I love the neighborhood, and I had to catch the bus all the way across town, but I would get my homework done on the bus coming home so I could go outside and play in the neighborhood, if you will.
I love it. No, I love that so much. One of our other, I know we have several, but the way you speak so affectionately for Baltimore, it made me think of Teresa Harrison's
Mhm.
interview. She
Mhm.
named her company George Street Consulting Services because of her affection for the neighborhood, the culture, that community. So I see that you have that same affection, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, special.
So let me know. Let's look at the next chapter. Right before you became an entrepreneur, all right, let's look at, did you have, where, if, did you go to college, and what were your first professional experiences like right before you became an entrepreneur?
Sure. So just a half a step back, I went to a math, science, and engineering high school,
Mhm.
which ultimately led me to study engineering in college. So I studied systems engineering, and when I got out of school, I went to work for Booz Allen in Hamilton, which is a fairly
Mhm.
large now management consulting firm.
Yeah.
So I was doing what we now call cybersecurity. I was doing computer security and information security consulting. Loved it. However, when it came time to do finance, I didn't have a clue about finance, accounting, marketing, anything like that because I had studied engineering. So I
Okay.
made a decision to go back to school to get my MBA. So undergraduate, I went to the University of Virginia, and then I went back to the Darden Business School at UVA as well. And
Okay.
when I came out, I went to work for a company in Chicago in their internal consulting business. And basically, I consulted to the different divisions within the company.
That's awesome.
Loved consulting, would travel all over the world trying to figure out mergers and acquisitions, or trying to figure out, should we buy this company? Should we divest from this company? So absolutely love that, and pretty much built my chops in management consulting. Went to a few other consulting firms, but that's where I learned the grind of pleasing customers, if you
Mhm.
will, generating revenue from accounts and keeping things going. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much how I learned business, if you will.
I love it. I love it so much. We are just we're getting the gang back together. We're planning a capital conference for those in the audience listening, and when we're starting to pull together the program and what types of things that we want our Bow members to experience, I've really been focusing a lot more on starting with the end in mind, succession planning,
Mhm.
what the final iteration of businesses will be like. And so you mentioned a couple of things, mergers and acquisitions, the fact that you would look at large companies from a large scale and be able to evaluate that. I think is so exceptional for businesses to really have that North Star so
Mhm.
that they can, all their decision making can be in synchronicity with getting
Mhm.
to that goal. So girl, look, we might pull you into your old stomping grounds, getting you to consult the sisters on doing some mergers and acquisitions. I love it.
Absolutely. And it helps you to figure out what you say yes to and what you say no to. If you
Yeah,
have your eye on the prize and where you
yeah,
want to go,
yeah.
something over here doesn't fit. Let's leave it over there. Let's stay focused for where you want to go.
Absolutely. So transitioning now, I'm always trying to pull together the pearls of the bow necklace and see what their themes were. A lot of them, you could say were so well fortified in confidence, education, confidence. I can do anything. That is something very clear. Another commonality of your Bow sisters is a lot of them had some big firm or government experience that they kind of leaped into entrepreneurship with. So you mentioned working for one of the larger firms. How did you make your transition? What was your transition story to your own business?
Kind of interesting. I love work. I love consulting work that I was doing. But around 2000, I had my first son. Had an amazing boss that said, you know, when I was pregnant, he found a job where I could work from home. That was 22 years ago, right?
Amazing.
He found a job in the consulting firm where I could work from home. And then after I had my son, he was like, do you want to get back on the road? We kind of need you to get back on the road. And I thought I wanted to, but then in my gut, I did not want to. And I went to him and I told him that. And he said, well, he basically said, we'll give you a soft landing, you know, what have you, right? So I didn't want to go back on the road. So I was like, okay, what skills do I have? Yeah. So I actually started more of a regional consulting firm from Philadelphia. I live in Maryland, but from Philadelphia to DC, Northern Virginia, which was going pretty well for somebody just starting out. I went to prior clients and so forth. But this bug around golf bit me. And I was a hacker at best. I'm not really good at it, but I love the sport. What I knew about it, I loved. So I said to a group of girlfriends, it's Memorial Day on Monday. We don't have to go to work. Let's get together and play golf. So they told 2 friends and so forth. So there were 16 of us. Oh, wow. So I hastily put together a golf tournament. Never done it before. But I had a friend that worked for Bank of America, and she cleaned out the closet and gave us balls and tees and golf towels. I had another friend that worked for Marriott. She was able to give us some discount stays or coupons. So the women came to the golf event, 16 of them. We played golf. After golf, we sat around on this screened-in porch, I'll never forget, and ate and networked, and they loved it. And when it came time to depart, all of them said what a great time they had. All of them got some swag and some giveaways and that sort of thing. They said, when is your next event? I didn't have a next event, right? So I hastily again put something together for 4th of July. This time men came, women came. It was a blast. When they left, when is your next event? Didn't have a next event, so I did it Labor Day, same thing. So that was it. Summer was over. I'm doing my consulting business. Anytime I saw somebody that winter, they said, what do you have lined up for golf? Tell me what you're doing for golf. Do you have golf trips? Do you have tournaments? So it was at that point I decided to do some research in the golf industry. I looked at the entire industry and found out it was pretty much stagnant to declining, except there were a couple segments that were growing: women, minorities, and juniors. Well, I can sort of help with that. And I really just tried to figure out a way I could make golf my business and settle on planning and managing golf events. And it just grew from there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So that you said, if my ears are hearing, you said 2007 was when you had the birth of your child, and you said, hey, 2000. All right. And shortly after then you had your kind of impromptu business filing, your inaugural business. So what have you learned? And again, out to the audience, not only has she parlayed sports management, or excuse me, golf events management. She has events in general. What are some of the biggest things that you have learned about your business and the fact that you have been able to scale it to over $1 million? What were some of your key good decisions or lessons learned?
So one is relationships, and that goes for customers, staff, vendors, all of that, the importance of good, solid relationships.
Yes.
Another one is doing great work, operating with excellence.
Yeah.
I was doing golf tournaments, a small niche, if you will. And my clients came to me and said, hey, you did such a great job with our golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help us with our annual meeting?
Yes.
Can you help us with our board retreat? Can you help us with a golf and spa event?
Yeah.
So it was the doing great work that led my clients to ask me to help them with other broader events. And that enabled me, one, to grow outside of the golf, or in addition to the golf, I would say.
Yeah.
But it also allowed me to penetrate deeper within clients. So instead of doing one event for a client, I'm doing 5 events for one client, and so forth.
No, that's perfect. And I think that what you said bears true. We did a bow kind of report and talked about the key strategy or ingredients for scaling. It wasn't certification. It wasn't really capital. It was relationships and referrals, doing excellent work, to your point, excellent work, and wanting people to come back and giving you more and more. And I would love for you to tell your story as we connect this with Bo. How you entered Bo and where you are now. How have you been able to do that? Tell our audience, about your story there.
So sure. I entered Bo as a sister business owner. And for those who don't know, that is a business in the realm between 200 and under $1 million. I was blown away at the first Bo event at the power in the room. And part of it was these women are just like me. And the other part of it was these women are phenomenal. They're doing the daggone thing, right? So it was sort of being in that room and seeing what was possible. And I sort of left that conference, that initial conference energized, trying to figure out, how can I grow my business? How can I get to the next level above? And really, that's what that conference was in February. And that's what I spent the rest of last year doing. And it comes back to sort of, as I mentioned, going deeper within clients, finding other opportunities within existing clients, but then also taking what you have and trying to find new potential clients and sometimes new markets or industries for your clients. And that's what I was able to do, not alone, but just through learning, a lot of time in the lab, in the head lab, and, trying to sort it out and then bouncing ideas. What about this? And was a very, very, not surprised, but then when I looked at my business sort of in October, November, I said, oh my gosh, I think I'm there. I think I can do this. And was very pleased to do that. And beyond that, I'm just so energized to grow and continue to grow. I don't know, it's like candy, you can't get enough of it.
I love it. Well, speaking of candy, look, that's a great little segue. We have been talking about how Bo's function is really a couple things. It is to figure out how to do collective bargaining when it comes to opportunities, business opportunities, doing referral to one another's business, creating a safe space where we can grow and bounce ideas off of one another and resources. Tell us about your experience, our experience with working with your both sisters earlier this year, and give our audience some sense of that process and the end result, and how is that assembled? Because I think it is of the best of what Black women can do together in business.
Right. So I reached out to you, Nicole, about the annual conference that was coming up. And I know what my skills are, and I know what I bring to bear for clients. And I wanted to see if Bo could use it. Quite honestly, I had not done a lot of events within Bo because I was just busy or the calendar did not align. And it was sort of at the time of the year where I said, I'm free, I can help. What can I do to help? So I reached out to Nicole, and you said, well, your time is perfect. Here's what you can. Funny you should mention it, right? So, but at any rate, we were coming up on our annual conference, and there are many elements that need to be done, some of which are sort of I do in my sleep in terms of working with venues and so forth. But there are other elements where both sisters have expertise. And that was one of the most beautiful things. We got on a conference call. I said I could do this. Candy said, I've got the food and beverage handle. Tiki said, I've got the registration, the operation sort of thing. And we brought our teams together to support Nicole's vision of the type of event she wanted to have. And the rest was history. Everybody knew their place, but not only that, everybody helped each other to enhance whatever it was that they brought to the table. So the notion of teamwork, it was teamwork, but it was teamwork on a different level where everybody brought their best, but we walked away with something 100 times better than any of us individually could have done with our companies. And it was phenomenal.
Well, I couldn't have said it any better. It was for me, I have been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. My first business was as a solopreneur. I owned a day spa. And even though I had lots of team members, that feeling of being alone, and I had to rise or fall on my own decisions and efforts, was a little stressful. And fast forward, I have a new business. I do have a partner, and I started to glean how powerful collaboration is. But I will tell you, the experience that we had with putting the event together, having basically 4 different teams, 4 different, passions, energies, but all with one focus, and having that spirit of all wanting each other's best, all wanting to hear a different perspective. No, I love the phrase, no pride in authorship. We really all did it together. It was extraordinary. It was such a beautiful experience. And it showed me that is where I want to reside for life. I really want to work on projects in collaboration with women, with like-minded, good-natured, brilliant women. That is my standard. I'm not doing anything else, and I get to choose. But it was just such a great experience. We're like, when can we do it again? Come on, let's do it, and we're gonna do it better, and we're gonna keep getting better and refining it. But I just want to say thank you, a public thank you. I always thank you for your brilliance, but also your temperament. Your as they say, a steady Eddie. Unflappable. That is such a wonderful when it goes to customer service. So people that are listening here, everybody says they pride themselves on customer service, but temperament and civility and graciousness, those are in your DNA, and I'm just so proud to be your sister, and proud to get to work with you, help you grow not only your firm, but grow Bo together with you.
Yeah. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It made all of us better. We didn't go in looking to be better or even thinking we needed to be better. But at the end of that process, we were all better. And that's how I look at Bo in terms of all of us reaching a level that not that we didn't think was attainable, but it's just amazing. It just happens.
it really is. And I think, I had a vision going into it, but these last few months, because it's cementing now. It's like before it's kind of theoretical, but now we're putting some things in practice and we are spending a lot of time together. And it is transforming my life in a way that I wish that everyone would go out and replicate this. I wish that you would gather together like-minded, positive, intelligent people around your circle that want to see you succeed in equal measure, to giving and taking in equal measure, because the air up here is so amazing. We're talking about new businesses to put together. I was just telling somebody, part of what we do is this collective bargaining. So we went out and talked to a corporation, and they said, "Well, do you have you remember a travel agent company?" And we were like, "Well, no, nobody really had that." And then somebody said, "Well, why don't we go start one?" I was like, "You're right."
Yeah.
We all know how to start businesses in our sleep now.
Yep.
But being around these brilliant minds and this energy of creativity and let's do it together.
Right.
It is so empowering. And it's just a blessing. It's just a blessing to be able to be around you all, to get to know you all, to think with you, to brainstorm. It's just a real, I just wish that, my hope for the collective is that we are replicated.
Yeah.
I hope that whether we bring more people in or they say, "Hey, what they're doing isn't so right. Go do it, girl. Go get all your booze. Get them all together and work together and see
Yes.
what you can come up with."
Yes.
I think that's the best we could do for the culture, for our community, for the world. If we could do
Right.
this all throughout, I think we would all be so blessed.
But I thank you for your vision. All right. All of us individually, we're fine, right? We didn't need this. Oh, but we did.
Oh, but we did.
Once
Oh,
we came together.
yes.
So I thank you for your vision and the ability to bring us together and make us stick. This is something that's not for today. It's not for tomorrow. It's for generations.
It is. It is. We all feel it. And I want to leave you with giving our audience what I believe is the heart and soul of the collective. Now, I'm going to do a 180 because I hyped up our event, our beautiful, palatial, elegant event that we worked on. And I am so proud of that. But I will tell you what you did in Dubai with one of our Bo sisters, that showed me absolutely how transformative this organization is. Can you share that story with our audience?
Sure. Since 2014, I've been taking a group over to Dubai, some golfers, some non-golfers, to sightsee. Every year the group has grown. So as we go, I work harder and have less vacation time. So now I've started to go a week in advance so I can do a little vacation time and do Dubai. But I understood that we had a young lady in the incoming 2023 class for Bo that had basically picked up her brokerage firm from Atlanta and moved it to Dubai. And she is the only Black female brokerage firm in Dubai. So I wanted to meet with her. So I met with her, connected, met with her. I brought her a bow pin from our friend Michelle, said she can, have my pen until you get back, but we're going to pin the sister. So we went to Dubai. We had a ceremony where we pinned Denise because she was not able to be pinned with the rest of her class. And it was just transformative. We had about 5 Bo sisters who were on the trip, and we met with Denise, pinned her. It was part church, part spiritual, part bow pinning. It was everything. And it speaks to our global nature, but our connectedness. And for us to be able to sort of take the show on the road, take it abroad, around the world, and still feel the importance and all the positive things that are bow, it was almost a transformative experience for all of us.
Well, I couldn't have said it better, but I will tell you, as your co-founder, because we are all founding members, it really it just filled my heart so much that that we all take ownership of the civility and the sisterhood that we extend to each other. Yes, it's about business, but it is so much more about covering one another. And we say it, and others, have kind of taken on the phrase of creating a safe space, but it is real to us. It is real for those who feel it, who are able to experience that sisterhood, but also be proud to extend to each other. And so thank you so much for being there for Denise, for just embodying the fact that we are not a gimmick. We are not just a one-trick pony with events, that we are a true, authentic foundation of sisterhood, fellowship, and love for one another. And for that, we will grow, and we will do great things together.
Yes. Glad to be in the number.
You certainly are, Saint. You certainly are, sister. So anything else that you want to leave? You want to, any final thoughts, and how can our audience stay in touch with you?
Sure. Again, glad to be in the number and be a member of Bow. For anybody who gets an opportunity, whether you're in Bow, not in Bow, connect with the Bow sister and experience her. I haven't met everybody and had a conversation with everybody, but I endeavor to do so, and it's transformative. So that's what I would say to that. And then just in terms of finding me, Acuity Events is our full service conference meeting and events management company, and Acuity Sports is our golf event management company. You can Google them, find them all online, and all of the social platforms as well.
Thank you so much for all you do to grow the Bow, girl. We didn't come to play. We came to slay. Thank you, sister, for joining me today.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Guys, that does it for another edition. Listen, I say it every week because it's true. These are the baddest sisters you will ever experience. The energy, the fellowship, and brilliance that they have in their own lives is a present to everyone they come in contact with. I'm so glad that you were here to share their stories, to hear them share their stories. Stay connected with them. Bring someone else to listen to the podcast. You are able to experience superheroes next door. That is how I think of every entrepreneur. We are out there, job creators, trying to make this world a better place through the businesses that we have created in our communities. I hope you take care. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.